Unpacking is an adorable game with a heartwarming story and several different cozy atmospheres, and simultaneously also a game that makes me feel anger I have never felt towards a man that we never see. The boyfriend from level 4 of Unpacking, otherwise known as my personal enemy and everyone's biggest annoyance in the game. The way that this level works, narratively, mechanically, aesthetically, and theme-wise, is meant to make us hate this man. The hate we feel for him is completely on purpose, and I'm about to analyze every detail and show why we all despise this faceless entity. For those who have never played Unpacking, well, I'm not entirely sure why you clicked on this video, but the mechanics are fairly simple. You take things out of boxes and place them into a room. There are places that objects can go and can't go. There's a very interesting way Unpacking sets up mechanics that make the gameplay relaxing while making the boyfriend infuriating. In our first level, we are left with a completely empty room to place our things. The gameplay is meant to be satisfying. We get to start from scratch in organizing this room the way we'd like it to be. There is enough space to fit everything in, and we have some options for where to put things. From this level, we can gather a lot about the protagonist of this story. In this first chapter, we only have to worry about toys and art supplies for the most part. This is meant to be a childhood bedroom, so there are not many things to organize. We do gather a few things from the items though. For one, our protagonist seems pretty artistic. She has a desk for art supplies and a framed picture of a drawing. She also has a few books, a collection of stuffed animals, and a soccer trophy, or football if you're not from America, which the creator of this game is not, so. From these items we see some of the protagonist's hobbies, and from the bright colors, the room's atmosphere feels very warm and playful. The next level carries this over to what we can assume to be a college dorm. It's got a small bedroom and a wardrobe with a tiny kitchen area. This follows through the same gameplay mechanics with us placing our things in this new empty area. We can see that we have expanded our love of art, as we now have new fancy markers, more sketchbooks, art books, and one of those wooden little model thingies that I never know the name of. We also have to organize our clothes now, which is mostly t-shirts because, look, we're in college. Our protagonist has also brought some stuffed animals and a Game Boy, as well as our football. We only brought 2 stuffed animals, a cat and a pig. The pig looks like it's been pretty well loved. We can see that the main character has grown up a little, but they still have a childish style and they are getting their life together. The dorm room is a bit dull, but your items add a lot of color and life to it. And in return for the dull colors, you get a lot more room and new areas. Speaking of new areas, your next room shows to be both bigger and more vibrant. This is when you move in with other people, presumably friends who you play D&D with. This level integrates some new mechanics. For one, your roommates have things that you are not allowed to move. They might have their shelf organized in a certain way, or their own drawer in the bathroom, or dirty dishes that you cannot clean. Let me clean them, please! There are also shared spaces with room left for your own things. There's a designated spot for board games where you can put yours, and a spot under the TV for game consoles where you can put your GameCube, generic square console. You do sacrifice some freedom to put things wherever you want, but there is also solidarity and a welcoming feeling in knowing that you are part of a shared space. Take for example the bathroom. There's already a cup where someone has been putting their toothbrush. If you're a bit germophobic, you might put your toothbrush in your drawer, but you also have the option to share the cup with your roommate. This can make you feel like a shared space. This is especially clear with the dining table having D&D books on it, where you can put your D&D books as well. You can even hang up what looks like a painting you did of your D&D group over the table. It feels like you're in a space of like-minded individuals, and slowly finding out how much you have in common is fun. We get to learn that our protagonist is into D&D, and we can put our action figures and stuffed animals next to our roommates. It creates a sense of belonging. Not that you don't have your own space. Other than the designated spaces in the kitchen, bathroom, and living room, you have your own bedroom. We can see that our main character has branched out more into art, with filled sketchbooks and more markers. There's also a switch to digital art, as we now have a digital art pad. Her Game Boy has also gotten an upgrade, and the mentioned GameCube that we share with our roommate. She's also developed some other hobbies. It seems like she might be getting more into rock climbing and working out with some dumbbells and a yoga mat. And we've still brought our stuffed animals, with our beloved pig plush and cat again, though we have some new ambitions now with a family of chickens and her chicks. We also appear to have been traveling more. We have pictures of friends and sites that we've seen, and we're growing a souvenir collection implying we've been to London, Italy, and France being the newcomer into this group. We also have a college diploma, which you can hang proudly above your bed or anywhere in the bedroom. The previous 2 levels set up a feeling of independence, but this level creates companionship. The space feels bright and welcoming, and we can even notice that the roommate left a little smiley face on a sticky note for you to find. The drawers have been cleared out for you to place your things, and you have your own space as well. Your hobbies and interests seem to line up with your roommates, and moving in feels like it fills a gap in this apartment that makes the place feel more full. This level is meant to show warm and welcoming friendship, which is definitely a contrast to the next level. Instantly upon walking in, this level feels different. The bright, warm atmosphere is nowhere to be found. Instead, we're met with a cool, sleek place with an interior design theme that differs from what we've known. Minimalism. Okay, I'm not saying that minimalism is the root of all evil here, but gameplay-wise, it is really strenuous. Let's get into this place though. This is a boyfriend's apartment that we are moving into. Upon seeing the place, we can tell that he has a very metallic, modern style, something that clashes with our plush and homey decor. From looking around, we can gather that he likes music, he has a guitar, and a record player. He also has large weights and what looks to be an Xbox, which we have to move to make room for our more colorful and childish-looking GameCube. This is gameplay where the mechanic of moving things comes in. The last level gave us designated areas to place our things and space that is solely ours. We couldn't move any of our roommates' things, but we had areas to work within. Here, nothing is off limits. You can place your things anywhere, but you need to make room for yourself. The way this apartment is set up is not meant for us to have any designated space. We as the player have to move things around to make room, but his stuff is already taking up all that space. That's because despite the fact that his things shouldn't take up all that space, they are positioned to take up as much space as possible. He has a very minimalistic style, meaning everything is spaced out. Take the kitchen cupboards. There are 4 plates and 4 bowls, but they're spaced out in rows of 2. Now you as the player can stack the plates or bowls so that they would only take up less than 1 shelf. The problem is gameplay-wise, players aren't used to being able to move other people's things, so they might try and fit things in first without touching the boyfriend's things. The second annoying part of this mechanic is that you actively have to rearrange his things in order to make room for yours. The boyfriend put no forethought into making space for you, and instead chose to leave things exactly as they were, which is with the apartment feeling completely filled. We no longer get the feeling that we're filling an empty space in a place where we belong. Between the aesthetic and the minimalism, we don't fit in here. Also, where are our plates? Where is our fun art mannequin? Why do we only have our stuffed pig? We have actually expanded our collection of chicks, but we're also missing a lot of things. We lost our board games, and our D&D books and sketchbooks sit on the bookshelf. What happened to all those hobbies we built up over the years? We don't have a desktop computer anymore, we just have a laptop and a drawing pad, which we don't even have a desk to put on anymore. Even as a child, we had a desk with our drawing supplies. Now we either have to put them in our nightstand or in the closet, which is also where we can put our diploma. And if not the closet, then under the bed. What's upsetting about this is there are plenty of posters up. The boyfriend has monopolized the walls with his own interests, and we can't take any of them down. There's no room for our achievement except hidden away. Or above the toilet, but the game doesn't let you keep it there. Come on, man. Look at my academic achievement while you pee. This level comes up with an extra step of having to move all your boyfriend's things. The level design is made to take up as much space as possible. There are hidden areas to put things that you might not think of. Items might be set out in a way that takes up more space than it needs to, and the player won't realize it until they go to move the items. In this setting, we don't get any independence or companionship, we just feel out of place. The boyfriend doesn't even clear out the drawers for his girlfriend. He takes up 2 drawers with items that can all fit in one. We don't have enough hangers to hang both of our things. You have to squeeze yourself into this apartment, and when you do, your things clash against your boyfriend's. You can't share the space for your toothbrushes either, because he has an electric toothbrush. There isn't any room for your pads or tampons, and you have to bring your own trash can, probably because he never really considered that. Of course, the final nail in the coffin is really the diploma. That says everything you need to know about this relationship. From the aesthetic and items in this apartment, the boyfriend feels cold and uncaring, not willing to make any space for you, and somehow belittling your accomplishments and hobbies without even making an appearance. His sleek and modern aesthetic clashes with our cozy one. It makes it feel almost patronizing or belittling to put colorful stuffed animals and figures in with his Zen garden and vinyl records. This is furthered by the writing in our journal when we finish the level, one of the lines being, "Barely squeezed myself in there." Another, "Moving into his place feels so serious." And another being, "There's coffee other than instant? Who knew?" The boyfriend seems to have some kind of pretension over the protagonist. He has his own place that we move into. We have to fit ourselves into his space. He seems very mature and pretentious with his expensive and adult tastes like his Xbox, his coffee-making supplies, and his collector's edition books. The protagonist pointing out it feels serious to move into his place feels odd. It's a large step for her, and she's receiving no support in that step. It seems even her style is changing, with more mature outfits and shoes, losing our fun t-shirts and clothes. We might even assume that she's trying to impress him or fit in with his style, despite the fact that his style is so uninviting, and we can see by her decor and things that it doesn't suit her. We also see that our stuffed pig, the mascot for the game, is looking worse for wear. He's got a tear in him, and we fail to upkeep him, and for something so sentimental that we've kept with us this whole time to go without upkeep, you have to wonder what state the protagonist is in. Our protagonist has been characterized as having childlike whimsy and passion, but here it's suppressed by the space and aesthetic. There's no room to hang up anything in our room, to decorate, at all for that matter. And good lord, man, your shoes do not need to take up that much space. And it's so annoying that he hangs up his hoodie when I have perfectly good dress clothes that I need to hang up. This apartment is no longer a welcoming space. It's no longer a fun space. It's not even our space. We feel so out of place in this apartment that this feels like a reverse of the arc we explored in this previous level. We used to progressively get more space, or get more companionship, friend, freedom to decorate. Now we have nothing. We have less than we had in our childhood bedroom. And we see this once this chapter is over. The next chapter takes place 2 years after we move in with the boyfriend, so their relationship lasted over 2 years. We aren't sure what went down in this time, but we can be sure what happens after. We move back into our childhood bedroom. It's been a while since we last saw it. The bed is no longer a loft, and it feels a lot more cramped. Returning to a childhood bedroom can narratively make the player feel like this is a regression, and the sad music in the background doesn't make it feel like a triumph, though it's nice to return to the colorful aesthetic we're familiar with. This level is also a bit difficult to fit everything into, considering our old things are here. It feels like we've outgrown this place. Still, gameplay-wise, it's refreshing to have empty spaces to initially put our things into. We do get a large portion of our things taken, likely put into storage for this chapter. We do get to see our old stuffed animals again, including our stuffed pig, who's still torn. Thankfully, we can put our degree up on our wall this time. Our protagonist can also start putting her art up on the wall, something that we've done in every level other than the boyfriend level. In fact, we don't take any of our art into the boyfriend's apartment. Despite the fact that we had large paintings decorating our last apartment, our boyfriend's apartment, we have absolutely nothing going on the walls, and our own paintings are nowhere to be found. We used to come into each level with a lot of new art, but this level there's a lacking amount of it. It's an upgrade from the last level where we brought no new art into our space, though we only get one new piece of art that we haven't seen before. This is a blue piece with sad imagery on it, far different from the colorful pieces we usually see from the protagonist. The art in the previous chapter seemed to represent her life stages, with childhood and college art being fun cartoons and the shared apartment of having your D&D group and other fun images like a ballerina or plants or animals. They all have a very warm color palette. This piece is drastically different, especially compared to our larger pieces in our old place. This piece is tiny. We can fit it almost anywhere on the wall because it's so small, likely symbolizing that the girlfriend had no space of her own. She did have to create on the kitchen counter or the nightstand. She likely couldn't bring a larger canvas into her home at that time to create a large painting. Not to mention, the paint looks like it would have stained any of the sleeker modern things that looked completely untouched, and that's likely why we don't really have as much art supplies as well, is because this place is so sleek and clean that it would feel odd to bring messy art supplies into it. This shift can represent how sad of a time this was for our protagonist and how little space we really had, moving to a much smaller canvas. However, this piece doesn't quite match the colorful tone of this room. We can get an achievement for choosing to put up an old childhood poster, very different from the blue piece of art we hang up. This level reconnects with the childlike fun we know this character for, even if it's a little melancholy. We also see that our protagonist has been facing a bit of back pain and other types of issues. Now, this could completely be related to age. I have seen some people theorize that this is due to the boyfriend's influence or stress caused by the boyfriend, but I think that's a bit too far of a conclusion to jump to without any evidence. Our protagonist is far past college age at this point, so it makes sense that, back pain and other things happen. We can also infer that the protagonist is not on good terms with the now ex-boyfriend. We find a picture of us, and if we try to put it on the bulletin board, the protagonist will put a tack through his face. The game won't let us complete the level until we hide the photograph away. We also seem to have taken a trinket off his bedside table with us, so his influence isn't completely missing from our lives. We can also see his influence in the next level as well. Though we have moved on and live on our own now, there are some things as well as his habits scattered about in our life. We see one of his gray towels in our kitchen supplies. We also appear to have picked up his coffee drinking habits, now with a few coffee making supplies ourselves, but nothing close to the extravagant setup he had. Our GameCube has been switched out with a Wii, which I'm hoping has just been upgraded and he didn't take ours. It seems like we have our GameCube games though, so I assume it's the former. We also have his hoodie from his old place, the one that he was hanging up in his closet. Oh, memories of him taking up the entire closet. There's a lot more in this level to contrast the boyfriend rather than have him haunt the place. For one, we appear to have taken more stuffed animals from our old bedroom, meaning we have more stuffed animals than when we lived with him. The boyfriend didn't have any stuffed animals or figures, unlike our roommates in the third chapter. He didn't even have a blanket or any throw pillows. He very possibly took our blanket though, as it's nowhere to be found in our new place. However, we are lucky enough to have our own office space with a desk and plenty of room for our art supplies, including a printer and even more markers. You go, girl. A welcome upgrade from our laptop on the kitchen counter. And of course, our degree goes up. We've always seen our main character have work clothes that resemble a food service job. We saw it when we moved in with the roommates as well as when we moved in with the boyfriend, but here that's missing. This office space and the growing and new art supplies could imply that our protagonist is now pursuing a career in art. Her interest in art as well as her degree were seemingly uncared for by her boyfriend. In fact, during this time the protagonist gained a lot more clothing that could resemble office or corporate attire. It was a large move away from art given there was no office space, no desktop, and less art supplies. Making art in this environment would seem discouraged given there's no space for it. Here, we not only have room to make art, but room to display it. Our protagonist does appear to hang on to their blue artwork, but has also made a lot more bright, colorful artwork since then, including blooming flowers, plants, and something to symbolize that our little beetle friend was not long for this world. Our wardrobe is now full of t-shirts and colorful clothes that the protagonist used to wear. Luckily now we have stitched up our pig. Aside from that, the place is way more spacious and we've gained back our warm aesthetic. It's clear that the protagonist has processed a lot of the sadness and anger that the boyfriend left her with, and is gaining her old self back. We've also regained our independence. The boyfriend regressed our progress a bit by stunting our independence that we gained through moving out and the companionship we've made through our friends. This level mirrors the dorm room with a lot of space and collection of things we've put together, but a lack of companionship. If this level mirrors the shared apartment, the next level is meant to be a spin on the boyfriend level. Our next step is actually staying in the same place. There are, however, new boxes to unpack. We've made more room in the house with an empty shelf and a couch. As we begin unpacking the boxes, it becomes clear that someone new is moving in. This new person is characterized as the direct opposite of the boyfriend. Our apartment becomes filled with plants and decoration. Our new partner brings in throw pillows and a blanket. Our living room becomes very alive and vibrant. Moving to the bedroom, we can unpack our partner's outfits to reveal a colorful collection of dresses and sweaters. They match well with our colorful clothes despite having their own style. Our partner also has her own collection of stuffed animals, including a tiger which mirrors our pig. We can put them next to each other on the bed. She also brings some cool things into the kitchen, including a lot of spices. It should be mentioned that our boyfriend only had salt and pepper. And nothing else. This gameplay greatly differs from the gameplay with our boyfriend, considering we're moving our girlfriend into our place. The player is likely very aware of how uncomfortable they felt in the boyfriend level when playing this level, and will probably make room for the girlfriend to have enough space. Not to mention the protagonist seems to already have taken this into account. She already has gotten another shelf in the living room, and more plastic drawers for the closet. This can make us feel like a better partner than our boyfriend. Having the girlfriend move in definitely livens up the place with her plants and colorful decor. It's the exact opposite than the boyfriend's metallic and modern style. Our girlfriend matches our style while also sharing a love of stuffed animals, fun fridge magnets, and board games. This level really makes us understand that a partner is supposed to make room in their life for you and your accomplishments. We do that with our new girlfriend as we proudly display her movie poster, awards, and what looks to be a framed movie ticket. This is a large departure from hiding our diploma under our bed. We can now understand that moving a few books or a poster to make room for a major life accomplishment isn't hard, and it should have been done for us. Here we can also see how compatible this couple is in comparison to our protagonist with her boyfriend. Our girlfriend still has her own interesting things to bring into the relationship. Her love of plants, movies, and horror, as well as a more feminine dress style. But she shares our colorful, bright style and seems to share a love for creating a cozy environment. This is meant to signal to the player that our girlfriend makes our lives brighter and warmer, and it doesn't require us or her to change just to fit in. The final level is the one that really cements that our protagonist is now happy in her relationship. The final place we move into is a house we own with our girlfriend, possibly now wife. We keep our office space and are shown to have published a children's book with a pig as the main character. Given a space to create and support, our protagonist has followed their career goals, and the work uniform from their job that they worked for with the boyfriend has not been anywhere to be seen since the boyfriend. We see the shared space being touched up with the plants and stuffed animals, really lightening up the place, creating a very soft atmosphere. We see that our protagonist has traveled to a lot of places since the boyfriend. She's also created a lot of art and has upgraded her art supplies. We also see a nursery, colorfully decorated with so many things and our old stuffed animals, now completely cleaned and polished to look shiny and new. We can proudly show off our achievements as she gets more. We see now that both us and our partner share a hobby of yoga, something that we've been doing for a while now. Our own art lines our walls, as well as a collection of stuffed animals, plants, games, souvenirs, and pictures. This feels like our space. The boyfriend from Unpacking is never seen or heard in the entirety of the game, but that doesn't mean his presence goes unnoticed. From the game files, we can gather that his name is Eric. It can be hard to put a name or a face to a character like this who we are obviously meant to antagonize a bit, but a lot of people have dealt with partners like this. We notice his overwhelming dominance over our shared apartment when we move in, and we feel the lack of his presence when he doesn't bother to make room for our things. We watch the protagonist grow, create, and achieve great things over her life, only to be stunted by this relationship because there is no room for her growth or support in this space. We've come to know the protagonist through unpacking with her, and when we watch her unpack into this unwelcoming space, we know it's wrong for her. She worked hard for her achievements, she loves to create, and she deserves to be appreciated and supported, let alone made room for in her own home. Listen, I can't be the only one who's watched a wonderful, kind, and bright person date a cold and boring finance bro. Sometimes a friend gets into a relationship that isn't necessarily bad or abusive, but it certainly isn't right. The last thing we want to see is a person lose their spark, their hobbies, their color, and themselves to be with someone that we only know as their boyfriend. We only know this man in relation to this person, and the relationship they have isn't right for our protagonist. Now, this character's name is Eric, but really, all I can see him as is the boyfriend. Maybe it's a bit harsh to judge him like this, but if you aren't ready to be perceived for how you treat your partner, maybe you shouldn't have one. His actions and non-actions towards the protagonist are pretty bad, and we care for her. So yeah, it doesn't matter if we've never seen or heard him. We don't like him. We know she deserves so much better, and luckily we are shown there's a lot better out there. Also, the only spices he owns are salt and pepper. Oh my god, girl, leave! Oh my god, I just realized this man totally took our sandwich panini press, whatever it is. Oh my god, okay, that's fine. Thank you for watching. Sorry, this man genuinely makes me so mad. If you'd like a calmer and less angry video, I'd recommend watching any of my videos on dating sims or cozy games or any of that fun stuff. I actually have a video about why cleaning games are cozy, so games like Unpacking, Power Wash Sim, and A Little to the Left. So if you're interested in any of those games, I would go check it out. And thank you so much for watching. I absolutely love this game, and I know I'm very late to the party. In my defense, I just got here, but I've loved this game for ages, and I'm so happy if you actually wanted to listen to me talk about it. So thank you so much for watching. See you.